So let's talk about taking an executive team and figuring out how to get that team to operate at an elite level, right? So that what they're doing can resonate throughout the rest of the organization. The first point I want to make in regards to the model of what an elite team does is the whole idea of removing self-interest. This means taking politics out of the equation. It also is aligned with building trust. If you look at Patrick Lencioni's work, he defines trust as the ability to be totally vulnerable. It's not about just predictable behavior. It's about being vulnerable with one another. And you can't be vulnerable with somebody if you have self-interest. A big part of the work I do when I work with executive teams is I help them become better versions of themselves so they can be totally candid and open with one another, to take self-interest off the table. Oftentimes, that self-interest, that political behavior that we see, comes from inefficiencies within ourselves. If we have issues with self-esteem, if we have issues with our ego and our ego is not in check, that's oftentimes when someone starts operating out of what we'll say is character. So they need to evolve and become strong in who they are and what they do so that they don't get hung up on these situations and issues that are quite frankly driven by dysfunctional behavior. Dysfunctional behavior has to go away. The next part of creating removal of self-interest comes from the idea of understanding the other people on the team, understanding the personalities, understanding that we all have different paradigms or models of the world that we operate from, so that we can get clear on where someone else is coming from, right? So it's creating that alignment with one another. From there, we can hold each other accountable, right? Peer-to-peer accountability and peer-to-management accountability. Where we just, someone doesn't do what they say, we say something about it, we don't let it go. Which also ties into the idea of being able to create positive conflict. Conflict gets a negative rap, but I find that the teams that operate in the best ways are ones that are really good at generating pure conflict, at really being able to stir the pot with one another in a positive form and basically say, hey, you know what? I think you're holding back here. Or you know what? You didn't follow through over here. Or you know what? We could do better over here, and here's why, and here's where I think that maybe you're coming up short. It can get personal, can't it? But that's the whole idea. See, if we can become better versions of ourselves where we don't get triggered by someone else holding us accountable or creating conflict with us, then we can truly work as a team and focus on what's best for the organization over our own self-interest.